Hey, sup mates? No, hold on, we have it like. Hey, sup mates? How are we all doing today? JDL here, and today we're with a reaction video. Alright, so a little behind the scenes this one. Been helping out a good mate of mine for a little while, a few other people. Just been testing out some of his tracks he's made in GTA 5, and he's doing pretty good for himself. As you see, his name's SamPlays. He's got 5.76k subscribers, so he's definitely doing good. And yeah, so just been helping him out, and he's finally put up a video for it. And so we're just gonna react to it, see how it goes. But yeah, if you like what you see or anything like that, definitely jump over to his channel and give that a view, and yeah, definitely subscribe. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright.
Welcome to gameplay of Urban Gauntlet. This is a series where I'm building a number of racetracks in the GTA 5 creator. While
he has built a fair few, is a bit behind recording, but yeah, we'll definitely get there. It should definitely get him out eventually. But can't wait for you guys to see more. I'm so keen for this.
Applying real world knowledge of racing and racetrack design. Then of course, stepping back and laughing as players ignore all of that and just launch each other into the upper reaches of the atmosphere. All jokes aside though, today we're taking a deep dive into this circuit, talking about the pros.
Okay, so as you can see, hold on, let's just
and cons from both.
Okay, let's just go back a second. So as you can see, this first hairpin, every time you just dive into it at the start, everyone just goes through it. So there's me, mate Trent, and there's me here. We're always the bright green ones. So yeah, there you go.
The pros and cons from both a building perspective, how well it's all been put together, but also a racing perspective. And the hope is, by the end of this video, you would have picked up some tips on what to do and what to avoid when you're building your own tracks in GTA 5's creator. Now, if you haven't seen it already, there is a part 1 to this little series where you can see me build this entire track,
which you should definitely go check out. It's definitely it's a cool video to watch. Goes through it in detail, like yeah, explains it all. And even if you want to do it yourself, it'll definitely help you to make your own track
from start to finish. All the footage is sped up and there's commentary over the top, and you can hear what my intentions were, what my goals were for this circuit. But today we're going to talk about the end result, and we're going to do that in 2 main parts. The first part has already begun. I'm going to show you footage in the background of a carnage-filled race that has an immensely exciting and interesting finish.
Definitely
But
carnage.
after that, we're going to go through the track corner by corner, and I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of each section and how it influences the racing and what I would change if I were to either edit this track or remake it in the future. So it's going to be a bit of an analytical video, but I want to start with the track as a whole. Let's talk broadly to start off with. Now overall, for my very first racetrack.
So as you see, right, you always gun it down here, and as you can see, I don't know if you can see up there, there's a bunch of us up there, and this race was actually pretty crazy, to be honest. We've had some good races, but as Sam said, just the end of this is ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous.
In GTA 5, at least since 2013, I must say, the circuit is overall pretty darn good. It's got a relatively good layout.
And if you don't know him well enough, your brother, always in the orange. So yeah, he's the only orange one.
There's certainly a lot of choke points around the track, which will cause a bit of carnage, as you've seen already, but the design overall is relatively strong. There's a mixture of corners from tight hairpins to high-speed flowing.
Fucking hell. So this one race, there was a few other people that joined. They're just fans or whatever, but fucking, oh my god, there's so many extra people, and there was crashes going everywhere. Oh my god, it was difficult. It was difficult to do, but I think yeah, me and Sam, we definitely get out and away. I can't remember who that one is, so we're gonna have to watch. But fucking hell, it's a good race. It's a good race.
Sections, and there's something for everyone on this track. It certainly tests the drivers in different ways. Now the build quality, as you can see on screen once again, is hit and miss. There's certainly some parts of the track which aren't that well designed or executed.
Sure. Okay, sorry, I gotta keep this, but the amount of detail and time this guy's taken in this is actually ridiculous. Like, I tried myself, I don't have the time for it. I did it for like 2 hours and I was like, I'm done. That's good enough. But yeah, he's put in time, and you see through the races that yeah, you're just like, oh fucking let's go. You just keep playing them. They're just fun. They work well. They're smooth. It's great. It's great.
One of the things that really jumps out to me is the height of the external barriers. A lot of these black barriers on the outside of the track are a little higher than I would probably do if I'd have built this track today with my newfound experience and knowledge, simply because I find the really high barriers actually block you from the surrounding environment, and you really can't feel the parts of the town, parts of the map you are in. It just takes some of the character away. One thing I am really happy with though is the curb placement. You can see on the exit of the tight corners especially, I do have ripple strips which are on a very high angle, so as you drift out to them, it does make you want to slide back down to the circuit and just keeps you on the track. The placement...
You might see here, I don't know if it's this corner exactly, but this corner right here, every time on this little bump, you're going way too deep, you catch some mad two wheels and you just go off track and just screw up every time. So, like, that's what I mean. He made them probably to proper races, so you, like, you gotta think about it. You can't just send it through the corner and be like, fucking yeah, she'll be right, alright? So, you can't always be like what I'm thinking most of the time. You just gotta pace yourself. You gotta work with the track, I guess.
Isn't always perfect, but they certainly do their job, and they just help keep the flow up on a relatively tight and technical track. Now you can see there are certainly some sections of the circuit that are prone to a little bit of carnage, and there's one corner in particular I really want to change on quite a substantial level, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on. Coming back to the race, you can see in the background though, you can see I'm starting to catch up to Mini Dude in front of me here, who's been joining.
The only problem is I need to change my name. It's still Mini Dude 430 as I've been since I was a kid, and I think it's definitely time to change to JTO. But yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
For multiple races, and does have his own YouTube channel, which I will link in the description. And we've had some absolute killer races on this track, and this is one of the best.
Sam, mate.
So you can see the carnage, by and large, is pretty much over now. Now, because the circuit does feature this very long straight, it gives a lot of time for catch-up to do its magic. If you're not too familiar with GTA 5, if you turn catch-up on, it basically makes the car in first the slowest and just enables everyone to catch up. It's a bit of a rubber banding effect. Now, as I do catch up to Skater Boy here, you will see that dirty air is a bit of a problem in this track. Now, dirty air is where you lose downforce and start struggling to turn, which...
See, so one thing you'll find here with Sam is that he's very analytical and he's very precise with his words. He uses the right grammar and he does well with his speech. Me, on the other hand, it's completely different. But it's good. It's good to just calm down and watch sometimes and just hear what he has to say about. Yeah, no, he's good. But yeah, so this comes down to the three of us. Trent is Skater Boy, and I'm Mini Dude. Names we definitely need to change. But yeah, it usually comes down to us three, or like, well, this is sometimes extra, but it's always a good race.
Which is exactly what happened there. I ran wide on the entry to that tight right-hander, or the fast right-hander, and as a result pinballed across in front of the other drivers. That's one of the corners we're going to talk about later on, because this footage here is from a slightly dated version of the track, and I do realign the barriers to try and mitigate the worst of that effect.
Ooh, coming in hot.
Overall though, the track does work pretty darn good. And dirty air is something we're going to talk about a lot in the corner analysis, because this track
there we go. Let's go, Josh.
Some problems with that aspect of driving in GTA 5 in general. But now we're starting the last lap. One of the great things about turn 1 is that it's just a straight entry to the hairpin. So you can pick your line nice and early, everyone can work out where they want to be and hopefully avoid an accident.
Hopefully.
You can see that I do get pinched. Well, not pinched, I was given plenty of room in fairness to Mini Dude there. But that just in general does create a little bit of a pinching nature, which does make it a bit tricky to go side by side. And now it's really just about keeping out of trouble, which I'm not doing a very good job of, through this middle sector to set up for a drag race to the finish. You can see with the slipstream effect catch up on.
Oh, bad two wheels.
Mini Dude gets up on two wheels there. One of the things I did in the speed build was put down some concrete pipes on the inside to try and discourage drivers from cutting the corner too much. They were doing their job here. Now, I'm chasing down Mini Dude for the finish. We've got Skater Boy behind us as well, and it's a very close finish. The finish line comes just a little bit too late for me. Skater Boy sweeps round on the outside.
Okay, I may have slacked him. Oh no, that's the worst footage, Sam. No, I forgot about that. Oh, every time we usually just leave it and let it go. I don't know. I must be like, nah, screw you, I'm winning this one, and just whacked him. I didn't give him a big push, but it was enough to slow it down. Oh, Jesus. My God. All right.
To some chaotic racing and some very close finishes. But as I mentioned earlier, it is far from perfect. So let's have a chat about each of the corners and how they contribute to the overall racing experience. We'll begin with turn 1, which is of course the hairpin. Now hairpins as the first corner on a racetrack are pretty common in the real world, but they are never this tight and never have this little runoff. And that means if someone overshoots the corner, they are guaranteed to cause carnage, especially at the start of a race. Now the tight hairpin is a limitation of the environment. There are trees either side of this road preventing me from making the corner any wider. However, if I extended the track further down this major road, I would have been able to create the same hairpin complex at one of the major intersections, which would have given me a bit more room to work with. After lap 1 though, this corner is still pretty good. There's plenty of slipstreaming opportunities. It's the prime overtaking spot on the track. And the straight entry to the hairpin allows players who communicate with each other to keep it clean and to keep it fair.
There we go. Oh, I dived it inside of him.
Raised right-hander. Now
should change the colour of my car.
Because the inside curb on this particular corner is on a pretty extreme angle, which I did deliberately. I wanted this corner to be more of a challenge and not just easy full throttle. And that was largely achieved. You do have to be very careful about your line through here and also
your goal is that wall
when you're entering the corner. Now what I didn't think about, however, was the impact this would have on the driver behind another player in the slipstream and in the dirty.
Oh my
God! Slide out. It is almost impossible to
follow
another car through this section without sliding and hitting that outside.
Oh my God, Chad, what was
so
that?
While it's a fun challenge by yourself, it's just frustrating to deal with this corner when you're racing in
on his ass again.
And I'm planning to flatten that curve so you can stay right on the throttle all the way around and hopefully have a shot at overtaking
he hit me up the ass.
turn 3. And let's have a chat about turn 3. Now, I originally planned turn 3 to be a key overtaking spot, but because of the issues I just highlighted with the previous corner, moves into turn 3 are normally pretty desperate and end in a crash. Now, I expect that to be better after fixing the raised right-hander, but this corner still does have a few issues of its own. The main one is that the corner gets quite tight at the apex, and by moving the tunnel a little bit further back, it would allow more room for players to turn in earlier and have some more side-by-side racing. The outside armco in this corner also had a habit of catching cars that ran wide and stopping them in their tracks, so I put a smooth wall in front of that armco just to avoid any unnecessary pileups. What I do like about this corner though is the apex curbing. If you get too hungry and cut it too tightly, the car will flick up on 2 wheels and possibly roll. That's a horrible situation, but because it's hard for the following drivers to stay on their tail through the previous corners, it does act as a bit of an equalizer.
There we go.
The following cars are likely to slide wide, it balances out that negative aspect of the slipstreaming effect. So it's a risk versus reward corner, and if you get too hungry it will punish you, but the consequences are always a result of your decisions.
I keep talking over him, I'm sorry, but I'm just really liking this, man. Just these, oh my God. I never knew we had so much just crashes going on, eh? Jesus Christ.
So, it's a key part of the track. After that though, we do come to a truly problematic section of this track. Turn 4, the fast right-hander. Now the corner itself here isn't really the issue, it's more the entry angle. As you saw in the full race I played a bit earlier, if you run wide on the entry to this corner, you will likely hit the inside barrier and come out perpendicular to the oncoming racers. This obviously creates a truly monumental pileup and is certainly not fun for anybody. Now you can see on the screen that I did reprofile the barriers to ensure a slightly straighter entry, but it's still the site of many crashes that can often jam the track. I do love this corner though when it does go well. It's the fastest on the circuit and it's extremely rewarding when you ride up that outside ripple strip and swipe the outside wall. But then we come to turn 5. Now this is the only corner on the entire track that I'm likely to make major changes to. And that may be surprising because it's nothing more than a 90-degree right-hander, so what could possibly be wrong with it? Well, Once again, dirty air is the issue, that sliding effect you get when trying to turn in the slipstream of another car. Now, to the best of my understanding of GTA physics, the negative impacts of that dirty air seem to get worse the faster you are going. And because the approach to this corner is such high speed, you almost always hit that outside wall in a pretty big way too, if you're following another car. Instead, I'd like to use one of the new open wheel track pieces, which is around 135 degrees. This would allow this section to be more of a hairpin with a slight kink either on the entry or the exit. But the main goal here would be just slowing the cars down and reducing that negative impact of the dirty air. It may even turn it into more of a genuine overtaking opportunity as well. Then we have turns 6 and 7, which if you do them right should be treated as one single corner, just one sweeping motion of the steering.
Which, I don't know if Sam's ever done.
Relatively forgiving part of the track. I'm really happy with this section. It is too high speed for genuine overtaking, but the inside curbs do often put the cars up on two wheels if you get too greedy. Once again, closing the pack up just in the lead up to the final part of the lap. Which brings us to the final chicane. This is possibly my favourite sequence of corners on the entire track.
Get this
because no matter how many times you go through here, you never feel like you've nailed it. If you go fast on the entry, you'll be slow and wide on the exit. If you're slow on the entry, yes, you'll be tighter and faster on the exit, but you also end up going over some bumps, which want to throw the car wide and make it slide. And because there's so many ways to get this corner wrong and very few ways of getting it right, it keeps the racing alive right up until
there we go, we smashed it. Your boy Josh is going for it.
Straight, which you wouldn't think is that interesting, but because the slipstream effect is so powerful in a straight line in GTA, that run to the finish can make or break your entire track. If the straight is too long, the car in first is pretty much defenseless and those behind will just slingshot right past them. But if you make the straight too short, well, the race is pretty much over by the last corner. In my opinion, the best racetracks in GTA should get players to drag race to the finish line, and both the car in front and the car behind should have roughly equal opportunity at a victory. And I think that's where this track really hits a sweet spot. The straight is long enough so that the cars behind can still get a massive run, but if the driver in front of them just weaves a little bit to break that slipstream, not necessarily block, just make it difficult to follow, it normally results in a dead heat over the finish line. And out of all the tracks I've recently built in GTA 5, which are all coming to the channel in a very similar format very soon, this is the circuit that has most often produced the best and closest finishes. So there you have it, gameplay of Urban Gauntlet, which has been a very long time coming. It's been a few months since I posted the original speed build, and that delay was caused by the fact I had to prioritize videos.
Alright, well, I'll leave it there. Sam can do his spiel. If you want to watch that bit, go over to his channel and check it yourself. But, yeah, that's it's definitely been a lot of fun making that video. Nah, it's just good. You just, I don't know, like, you get a bunch of guys, get around, smash out this race, and, I don't know, test out tracks, test them out for him, all have a good time, and, your boy usually wins. But, yeah, no, it's good fun, and, yeah, it's SamPlays, makes it all himself. I'll leave his link down in the description below, but, definitely good bloke, should definitely go check him out. Don't know why someone disliked this, because that's just outrageous. But, yeah, that was my reaction to it. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers, mate.
We could be taking control, yeah.